And next up, we're going to look at taking the top of our little tiki hut and putting it on there. We're going to make the roof on it. So if we can see in these different views, we've got basically this little leaf pattern that's going to come down. And the leaf pattern that we're going to put on the geometry looks like this one. So it gets a nice little detail on it. What we need to do is just provide the basic shape for it. And to do that, we're just going to use a plane, or we'll use a plane, and then we're going to bend it a little bit. All right, so let's start off. In our top view, we'll go up to our polygons, we'll go to our plane, and let's left click and drag out the plane inside the scene. Somewhere around here, we've got something that's not too big, not too small. We're going to add some divisions to it. We've got it at about a 5. We'll go 5 and 2, and let's do a subdivision of, let's say we'll do this about, let's say 4 times, and height 3 times. Why I say 3 times? Let's go 4 times. There we go. That'll give us enough to work with. And let's go ahead and go into our edit mode. I'm going to go to my vertex mode. And again, when you go into these modes, you can be using your modeling tools. You can have your windows pulled off and using those if you want. All depends on how you want to work. I typically prefer using the context menu. So we're going to go ahead and add to our selection here. We're just going to pull this down a little bit, pull this up just a little bit. We're getting a nice little soft curve on there. And then we want to make this little curve right in here. So I'll tell you what, let's just go to our object mode, and we're just going to move this guy up into our view. This will give us a good chance to move it relatively close into position. Go back into our vertex mode, rotate tool, and let's just do a little bit of rotation here. And let's make sure that we're actually rotating it where we want it. There we go. And let's rotate that. Looks pretty good right about there. Put that piece right in there. This one will rotate a little bit more. And we'll get him set up right in there. And this one we can give just a slight little bit of a rotation on. Alright, so we have a nice little curve right in there. The next thing we need to do is tie off the top of it a little bit. So if we look at it, zoom in just a little. I'm just going to pinch the top together like that, and the bottom a little bit like that. Now, I'm adjusting the geometry right in here, which if we really think about it, we really don't even need to adjust that because that's going to all come out in the alpha channel. So it may be one of those things where you're looking at it, it doesn't quite have the shape that you might expect, but once we put our material on it, it'll carry the shape really well. Alright, so I'm just going to set this guy in position. And then we're going to make some copies of it going around, but once we've unwrapped it and got it prepped and ready, we just need our initial single piece ready for action. Alright, so the only other piece we've got a little cap right here and a little opening at the top, so we'll just use a cylinder for that one. We don't really see it in there, and that doesn't benefit us too much if we can't see what we're doing. So let's go ahead and go back to our create mode, and we'll just drag out our little guy right in there. There we go. And let's move him on up. Looks like we can scale him down a little bit. And we also know that we don't want quite that much geometry in there, so we'll go ahead and adjust that probably about 8-sided. I'm going to go into my face mode, and we're just going to pull this down. We'll scale this in a little. There we go. Go into my modeling tools and go to, let's say, our bevel. Well, actually not the bevel tool. Let's do an extrusion first. So we'll extrude out somewhere in there, and then let's bevel or scale that out on our own. There we go. And we can rotate that over. There we go. And now let's go ahead and just bevel inward. If we really want to bevel, you know, I'm just going to avoid the bevel. And I'm just going to go right back to an extrusion. And we're just going to keep that nice and tight. And then we'll just scale that back down. There we go. And then we'll push that guy back in. And we'll just create the depth that we want right there on the top. Nice. Back up to our object mode. That should give us the piece that we want at the top. I may even move this guy up just a little bit more. We can adjust it as we get all the big old bamboo leaves stretched across. Okay, so we've got our rocks, we've got our pieces. It looks like we are in good shape to make some copies of things, to unwrap things, to get the scene prepped and ready. To lay it all out. Alright, so we're going to stop it there. Next time we come back in, we're going to start working on some unwraps and start just unwrapping each piece as we go and applying the texture to it once it's unwrapped. Alright, we'll do that next.